If you missed part one of this series, go watch that first. We broke down some of the most brutal truths about attention, emotional control, and why being too available will quietly kill attraction. We exposed how women test men, how most guys fail those tests without even realizing it, and how men keep confusing attention for genuine desire. If you haven't seen it, go back now, because this second part builds directly on everything we already covered. Now let's get into the second half of these truths, the ones that go even deeper. The ones that really change how you move, how you think, and how you carry yourself around women from this moment on. Here's the next truth. A woman's attraction to you can disappear fast if you start acting like you need her more than she needs you. It doesn't matter how things started. You could have had chemistry, you could have had momentum, but the moment she feels like you've lost your sense of self, like she's become your emotional oxygen, it's done. Because women don't want to feel worshipped. They want to feel chosen, and there's a difference. When you worship her, you put her on a pedestal. You treat her like a prize you don't deserve. When you choose her, you treat her as a reflection of your standards, not a lifeline. And here's why this is such a trap. As men, we're taught that effort equals reward. That if we show her how much we care, she'll care back. But relationships don't work like that. Emotion isn't earned through effort, it's triggered by energy. A woman needs to feel your presence, your groundedness, your ability to stand firm whether she's into you or not. That's what makes her feel safe. And paradoxically, that's what makes her want you more. When you stop chasing her approval and start choosing your own peace, your value goes up instantly. Let's talk about emotional responsibility now. Here's another harsh truth. Your emotions are your job, not hers. If you're upset, jealous, insecure, fix it yourself. Don't dump it on her and expect her to reassure you every time you're spinning out. A woman doesn't want to be your emotional caretaker. She wants to feel your emotional stability. That doesn't mean you fake being happy all the time. It means you don't panic when things get uncertain. It means you know how to regulate your own mind before bringing your feelings into the relationship. A man who's emotionally reactive is exhausting. But a man who's emotionally solid, that's rare. That's attractive. That's leadership energy. And leadership is exactly what most men avoid. Not because they don't want to lead, but because they're scared of being rejected for it. Scared of being too much or too direct. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Most women crave a man who knows how to lead. Calmly, not forcefully. She wants to feel your direction, your decisions, your clarity. Not because she's weak, but because feminine energy responds to masculine certainty. That's not about dominance, it's about presence. Can you walk into a room and make her feel more grounded just by being there? Can you handle tension without needing to control or collapse? That's what leadership looks like in a relationship. And most men don't even realize how powerful that is. Now, let's be honest about dating in today's world. Modern dating is a numbers game, but emotions make it messy. She might be talking to 5 other guys. Not because she's evil, but because she's got options. And if you're not different, you're replaceable. Harsh? Yes, but fair. Because guess what? You have options too. The real question is, are you moving like a man who has them? Or are you treating every woman you vibe with like she's your last shot? Desperation kills your presence. It makes you sloppy. It makes you needy. It makes you anxious. And that anxiety is loud, even if you never say a word. Women are incredibly intuitive. They can feel when you're overinvested too soon, when you're projecting a fantasy instead of seeing her clearly. And that's dangerous for you. Because you'll ignore red flags. You'll tolerate disrespect. You'll cling to crumbs of attention because your self-worth is tied to whether or not she stays. But here's the reality. If you had options, real, high-quality ones, you wouldn't tolerate any of that. You wouldn't chase, you'd choose. And that shift changes everything. Let's take it one layer deeper. A lot of men confuse being a nice guy with being a good man. Those aren't the same. A nice guy avoids tension. He suppresses his truth to keep the peace. He overextends himself to win her approval. But a good man? He's kind and clear, respectful but not a doormat. He doesn't fear rejection because he's not performing for validation. He shows up fully, and if that's not enough, he walks away. That kind of energy is magnetic because it's honest, and honesty is rare. Another brutal truth? She's not thinking about you as much as you think about her, especially in the early stages. Most men obsess, overanalyze, reread messages, play out scenarios in their head. Meanwhile, she's just living her life. She's not sitting around decoding your every move. That's not because she doesn't care. It's because she's not overinvested. Yet. And that's where your power is. Stop trying to accelerate connection. Let it breathe. Let her come to you sometimes. Because when you force things, when you try to manufacture closeness, it feels off. Forced chemistry dies fast. But when you leave space for her to miss you, think about you, wonder about you, now you're building a real attraction. Let's wrap this with one of the most powerful truths of all. Being high value isn't about having money, status, or looks. It's about being unshakable. A man who knows his worth is dangerous in the best way. He doesn't need to prove himself. He doesn't explain himself. He doesn't fear losing someone who doesn't value him. That kind of man? He doesn't chase love. He attracts it. Not by being loud, not by flexing, but by being calm, clear, and centered. That's the kind of energy that women respect, even if they don't understand it at first. So what's the takeaway here? It's not to hate women. It's not to become distant or cold or manipulative. It's to understand that attraction is emotional, not logical. That the more you chase, the less she feels. That the more you prioritize your self-respect, the more she leans in. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have all the answers. But you do need to value yourself more than you value her approval. That's the energy that changes everything. In the end, women want a man who knows who he is, who doesn't fold under pressure, who doesn't try to impress, who simply is and lets her decide whether she's worthy of entering his world. And when you carry yourself like that, not arrogantly, but with quiet confidence, you stop chasing women, you attract them. Effortlessly. This is just the beginning. Because once you understand these dynamics, everything changes. How you text, how you flirt, how you show up. You stop asking for permission and you start leading. So if you're ready to keep leveling up, subscribe to the channel.